Jennifer,
Yes.
you're homeless in the San Fernando Valley.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Every day's. Oh wow. Every day is good. You just try to make it through your day. If it's too hot during the day, you usually sleep, and then you get up and you start your day at night. And you have to do all the same things. You have to keep your house up. You don't want to have a big mess because then you get sick. Same thing. It's just harder to have a place where you can keep clean, use a restroom. People tend to go right by us, and they don't know that we're there unless they're paying attention. Now, from what I've seen now, they did a short story on the bamboos over here, or the Sepulveda Basin, I should say. And ever since then, we have had people that come by. They drop us off food, clothes, water, hygiene kits, and blankets when it's wet, thinking, okay, they must have got washed out, so let me bring them blankets. We have had people that come over here and see if we've had people give us rides to the hospital if there's something really going on.
Yeah.
People have taken an interest, people that do live in a home.
First off, speaking of living in a home, you weren't always homeless.
No. I lived in a home. My last home was a one-bedroom apartment.
Let's wait till the plane goes over.
Okay. I lived in a home all my life, with the exception of a couple short periods where I lived in my car. This is the longest I've been out here, since June of 2010. I was a single mom. I worked 2 jobs, and I lost both jobs within 3 months of each other. One was, I can say the name of the place, right?
Well, let's leave it out.
Okay. One was a real estate place. I was an assistant to a broker. And the other place, I was a bartender. So one was kind of working my butt off. The other was sitting on my butt a little bit more. Right. But both were really people-oriented. I get to meet people everywhere. I love people. I'm a people person. Even when I get angry, I say, okay, get over it, because you still want to do your thing. And no matter what, I can't get away from the fact that I do care about people. So I lost both jobs within 3 months, and rent kept going up and up and up, and it kept getting harder and harder for me to pay. And I believe he wanted to raise the rent in the building. He evicted me. My final rent was like $1,000, and he was working with me till the very end. And then he said, well, or the manager said, well, you paid half, now we want the other half plus the full for the month, and that's when I got stuck. So they evicted me soon after that, and I made sure my daughter and my granddaughter, because they were with me at the very final moments there, 9 years, once they were on their way, then everything took place, and I got kicked to the curb, kind of, sort of.
And you've been homeless ever since?
Yes, I have.
Now, you just made mention about how people say that homeless people shouldn't be around children.
Right, because we scare them or something like that. You know, there's a movie that's out that I think everybody should see. It's called American History X. It teaches people that being prejudiced is a learned behavior. If people don't know they're supposed to not like somebody or something, they don't. Children look at the world with an open view. They already have their gut instinct, like animals. I don't like you. You don't? Why not? I don't know, but I don't like you. And kids know. They have their own instincts. of whether they can talk to somebody or not. Now, yes, they can be fooled, and for that reason they should always be watched, especially at a younger age. But kids have a very basic instinct on what they feel is okay or not. Maybe we scare because people are, look at that person. They're looking out of sorts. Their hair is like this. Their clothes are dirty. Maybe they have a smudge or two on their face. Maybe their hands look like they're cold. And the perception of the person looking at us looks like, oh gosh, look at that person. I got to stay away. In fact, my not significant other, he was at a market, and his hair wasn't cut recently, and he was looking a little tired from his ride during the day, and he was walking through the market, and when he was about to leave, somebody came up and asked him, the manager would appreciate if he wouldn't come back anymore. That's really nice for them to say that, considering he's a Vietnam veteran, and how dare they treat him like that because he didn't decide to buy something. He didn't know what he was wanting at that moment. He looked through the store and decided to leave and was asked not to come back. Now, he didn't have to, he could have said a lot of things because he's very talkative, but he just said, okay, and maybe he was a little embarrassed. And I think it's terrible to treat people like they are below you. You know, I was raised in the Jewish religion, and I'm not really religious. I consider myself spiritual, but the one thing that I do like is the little yarmulkes. You know, I always say, do you know why people wear yarmulkes? And people say, no. Why? And I said, not to hide the bald spot, I promise you that. It's because you're always supposed to remember that there's something above you, to remain humble, treat people with respect.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to look down through your nose, because the guy in the gutter might be wealthier than the guy sitting on the throne.
Yeah.
And they might have a lot more heart and a lot more knowledge. Because a person is in the street doesn't mean that they're stupid. And in fact, many people that are homeless are quite intelligent and bright. And just because you don't like where they live doesn't mean you have a right to disrespect them. And like I said, he was a veteran. How many people do you get waved at and you walk away around them because they look dirty? Well, those might be a veteran, because 1 in every 10 homeless person is a veteran.
So earlier you were reading me kind of like a poem, but it was a flyer about criminalization and voting.
Yes.
So you're very much aware.
Yes.
And you tell me about that. Tell me about what's going on here with the sweeps, the criminalization, and what you think should be done about it.
Okay. Well, I think that everybody that's homeless, they have to be somewhere. We're still people. We're citizens. A lot of us are citizens. People that live in a house are citizens. People that live in a house are not citizens. It really doesn't matter. We're all the same thing. A person, a human being. That is all the same race, you know? Anyways, because you're homeless, they want to make you a target, because they want you to take the responsibility for other people's responsibility. Okay, so we haven't said anything, and that's part of our problem. If we don't speak up, then we're this, we're that, and unless we speak up and say, hey, we're not this or that, how does anybody know?
So you're rallying homeless people to vote.
I am, because that's where our voice is. That's where, if we show unity, and can you imagine when we vote somebody into office and somebody thought they were so secure? Now, they have the campaigning and all the money behind them, but we have a power base of over 50,000 is the last time I remember. I think it's well over that now. If we can gather together and vote somebody into office that's more empathetic or understands our situation of being out here, then we can start to make changes. We can do ballot initiatives, which we can help change the law. We don't have to have a lot of money. We just have to have voting power and say, this is what we want, and get it voted on. Then they have to change it.
And talk about the criminalization. What's happening out here? They're making people move.
Oh, yeah. The new one was, if I don't accept the shelter, I can accept being arrested. I always thought that was fun, you know. Gee, that's
scary.
one way to kick somebody when they're down. If you can't sleep on the street, we'll just give you a place to sleep, and we'll keep you there for a couple days.
And it's expensive. It's a waste of taxpayer money. Doesn't end homelessness, and it's expensive.
That's right. Because I don't know how much they get for keeping me there for a couple days, but they get money every time they move you from one spot to another, is what I understand. And they get money every time they take you into court and you sit there all day. I mean, is it about making money, or is it about the people?
Well, I could talk to you all day. You are so kind and so smart. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
First of all, always my family. I always wish for their well-being. I would wish to start up my project and for everything to go smooth and for it to be very successful, and for people to really enjoy life, not struggle every day, but do things where in the morning it's not like, I gotta get up, I gotta go to work. It's more like, hey, got things to do, I'll see you later.
Great wishes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you very much for giving me the chance to talk.
Let me